Hi, my name is Sandie Croft. Welcome to part 2 of my surfer tutorial. The painting should be dry now, so we'll be just painting the bottom third of the sea. Okay, I've let that dry a little bit, and now I'm going to do the foreground. Looking at my reference photo again, I can see that I've got lots of light coming down here from the reflection, the cast reflection of the surfboard. Also, if you notice, the sea kind of sweeps from left to right, top left to bottom right. So I want to get that movement into the water. So again, I'm going to wet this area down here. I'm going to switch to a larger brush just to wet it. So I've got a cat tongue brush here, which is quite useful for wetting large areas. I'm going to take it up to the surfboard. I've got plenty of masking on there again to reserve the lightest lights. Doesn't need to be soaking wet, just wet enough to take the colour and let it flow. You don't need puddles of water. I'm just getting a light sheen on the paper, but it's not puddles of water. I also want it to blend into this area here. Okay, that should do nicely. So I'm going to start again with my blue. The sea colour is going to be reflected, the top sea colour is going to be reflected into the bottom of the painting. So this time I'm going to start down here. I'm going to have it flat down here, and then I'm going to have it whooshing up into this top left corner. Like I said, we want lots of movement in this. And I'm going to pick up some green, wash my brush off, pick up some green. Again, I want it quite dark up here where it meets the other layer, and I'm going to sweep this down into this area here. Again, over here I've got quite a lot of foam here, so I don't want to darken that down too much, although I can pick it off with some tissue. I'm going to get some more blue in here because I want that to blend into this top part. Now I've got another colour ready to go, and that is yellow ochre. You can also use raw sienna. Excuse me. Under the surfboard, I want this quite dark. And it's quite dark here too. It's the cast shadow. Just building up the colours. Take your time with this because it's wet and you can add colour as you go along while it's still wet. Right, yellow ochre. I'm just going to bring some of this in to suggest the reflections of the edge of the surfboard. And put a little bit in here as well. The surfboard is going to be yellow ochre as well, which is why I'm using the yellow ochre in the water. Okay, pleased with that so far. Let's have a look. Stand back and have a quick look at that. Yep, I'm going to put a little bit more blue in here and then dab it out, which when I remove the masking fluid will look like shadow. So it'll slightly stain the paper, but then I can take the tissue and give it some of that. Isn't this fun? Right, a bit more green. Get some green into that blue under here. I want to really liven up these colours, make it very lively painting. We got some shadow under this foam. Some shadow under here where this foam is coming out. I'm going to try and blend this area here. I'm going to come in just to the top of this line here, just to soften it out a little bit. Wet my paintbrush, so I've got just damp brush here now. I'm trying to get this kind of a seamless flow going from here to here. So I'm just going to lose that line a little bit. So it looks like it's flowing up into the wave. Yeah, that works. I'll do the same the other side. So clean water. It's only a damp brush, it's not wet. I'm just damping this little area here, and then I'm going to soften into this area here while it's still wet, and add a little bit more colour just across here, just to soften that edge, a little bit of blue perhaps. My painting is still wet, so I can still keep adding colour. Ooh, so far so good. I'm hedging my bets with this one because this side is just starting to dry, so I've got to be a bit careful with this now. I don't want to make blooms everywhere. Just soften that edge. Okay, so I'm just going to, this is starting to dry now, so I'm not going to push this any further. I don't want to push my luck. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then we'll see what we've got and carry on. Join me in a moment.